All right, people. Well, this time around, we are talking about southern Italy. Now, um, in reality, it's going to be mostly southern Italy, while some of it's going to be touching on central in Tuscany and the only official Cremant, which is sparkling wine in the north. So, as much as it was, that the subject was southern Italy, we're not staying in southern Italy. So, on that note, tell me if you see what I am sharing. Give me a thumbs up. All right. So for me, this map is brought to you by Wine Folly. If you want to know about wine in the best possible way, those would be, that's almost always the best place to kind of find as much information as possible. Actually, before we get started, I'd like to, if you've got your Prosecco open, go ahead and pop it, because it's hard teaching and listening on a dry throat. So let's go ahead and give ourselves a little pour of this. And let's start off with a simultaneous sip. So cheers, everybody. All right. So on to what we have here in the Italian map. So in terms of, I'll be pretty much going down the list of regions as the wines that we'll be tasting. So the first one is going to be Veneto, which is up here in Venice. So again, this is where we're going to be going to the north side, but it's also, again, where the only official sparkling wine from Italy comes from. Now, because of where it is farther north, it is a much cooler area up there, with the cold breeze brought in from the Mediterranean that's over here on the east side. The highs right now for that region are like in the 60s. So, and that's the thing, is that with a lot of colder regions, you're going to be finding a lot more either whites or really light reds, because the growing season for like a heavy red is going to be much longer than the climate is going to be able to afford for those in these colder climates. The main grape that's grown here, so it says Prosecco, but the grape that's grown there is called Glera, Glera, and only Veneto and its kind of eastern neighbor, this Friuli Venezia Giulia, hope I'm getting that right. They also grow some Glera, and are allowed by the Italian Commission to make Prosecco. But so if you see Prosecco, it's going to come from one of those two regions. So next, we're going to go way south. We're going to be down here in Campania. And that is where we find our Phalangena. Now, a lot of you probably don't know Phalangena, but it is a much heavier grape, and it kind of goes with this particular area in terms of it being Naples on the western side of Italy. So comparatively to the east side, you're getting kind of a warm breeze that's coming off of the Mediterranean. And like right now, it's the highs in like the mid to high 80s. Yeah, so that's a much is going to lead to a much kind of fuller yellow grape or white grape, even some reds. Now, and because of it being kind of like that juicier and full-bodied, the Phalangena, comparatively to a lot of people, all they know from Italy in terms of white is your Pinot Grigio. The Phalangena, on the other hand, is actually going to be much more heavy. So it's actually going to be, for those of you that are like California Chardonnays, and you want an Italian kind of similarity, this would be the kind of the area that you'd be looking for, and the grape. The third and fourth, both of our reds actually come from Tuscany, just in different parts of Tuscany. Now, the reason why I had to go farther north is because the famous southern red, kind of throughout the rest of here, is the Montepulciano d'Abruzzo and Montepulciano, and those are a little bit harder to find, and really hard to find under the $20 mark. So that's kind of why I went a little bit farther north into Tuscany. Now, other than Chianti, so if you see here for Tuscany, Chianti, the wine that's sought after in Tuscany is the Brunello di Montalcino. And all of these, Chianti, the Brunello, all of these are made with Sangiovese grapes. So if you look around other places, almost everywhere else will have, Sangiovese. It's just that within Tuscany, those they kind of go by different names. But Brunello di Montalcino, it, on the other hand, that's the highest quality of those grapes. So when you look for that particular a bottle of that, you're already pricing yourself at like $30 to $40 at the least, and I've seen those go for hundreds. And it is, but it also is an experience to definitely have. Now, what you might be wondering is, so this is Tuscany, and you might have also heard like Super Tuscan. So let's first go through what Chianti is. So Chianti is almost completely the Sangiovese grape. Now, just as a little side thing, Sangiovese actually translated means blood of Jove or Jupiter. But Chianti, mostly being Sangiovese, has the slight additions, which you can kind of see there: Merlot, Cabernet Sauvignon, maybe some Syrah. And those are kind of meant to just kind of smooth it out, because Sangiovese is a really lean and acidic grape. Now, the Super Tuscan, on the other hand, one, has to come from Tuscany and is mostly Sangiovese, but there's some where it's 40% Sangio, and then all of a sudden you got like 25% Cabernet. Maybe they throw in some Cab Franc. They just kind of throw the kitchen sink in there, and it really makes it more akin to like a red blend, which is why you'll see many of them say Tuscany, and it'll say like Rosso, which just means red. And even that is usually classified as a Super Tuscan, again, just because it's got mostly that Sangiovese grape in it.